The Halls of Amenti are described as buried beneath the Earth's crust. That specific claim appears nowhere in any Egyptian text written before 1925. Every popular description of Amenti as a physical underground chamber traces to one source, one man, one publication, and he published it 99 years ago. The pyramid texts, written 4,400 years ago, describe the Duat as a frequency threshold, not a cave. That single primary source destroys the popular reading entirely. If the Duat was never a cave, then every channel, every book, every documentary pointing you underground has been reading the wrong map for 100 years. You have been given a map that points to a literal cave. The original map, the one the priests used, was a frequency diagram you can activate right now. In 1925, a man named Maurice Doreal published what he called ancient translated tablets. His followers called him a master. Egyptologists call his text something very different. Maurice Doreal, real name Claude Dodgen, was born in Oklahoma. He claimed the tablets he published were translated directly from emerald stone beneath the Sphinx. No Egyptologist has ever documented those tablets. No excavation has found them. The Library of Congress copyright record for the text lists one author, Doreal, published 1925. This matters because millions of people have built their understanding of Hermetic cosmology on that 1925 text. They think they're reading ancient Egypt. They're reading 1920s Oklahoma. Here's what actually exists: the pyramid texts, the Book of the Dead, the Corpus Hermeticum. These are primary sources, and none of them describes a physical underground chamber. The word Amenti, appears in the pyramid texts, written around 2400 BCE. It means the hidden land, the land of the setting sun, never once a cave. So we have two completely different sources, a 1925 American occultist and a 4,400-year-old Egyptian text. Only one of these has ever been excavated. Only one is primary. Pyramid text utterance 302 describes Amentet as the realm of the setting sun, a threshold where the consciousness of the deceased king enters a field of stars. The Egyptian Duat, the realm mapped in these texts, is described as corresponding to specific star positions, primarily the Orion belt stars and Sirius, not the ground beneath your feet. Corpus Hermeticum Tractate One, the Poimanders, describes the soul descending through 7 planetary spheres into matter, not 7 underground levels, 7 vibrational frequency bands. Tractate 1 then describes the return journey, ascending back through those same 7 spheres, shedding specific vibrational layers at each threshold. This is the Amenti architecture, precisely mapped. In our Emerald Tablet investigation, we established that as above, so below describes vertical correspondence, not spatial direction. That principle is the key that unlocks Amenti's real architecture. Book of the Dead, Chapter 125, The Hall of Two Truths, 42 divine assessors arranged in precise geometric formation. The soul must speak 42 statements of truth. Those 42 assessors correspond geometrically to Egypt's 42 administrative districts, the nomes. The Hall of Two Truths is a vibrational map of Egypt projected as a consciousness field. Here's the debate. Was the literal reading a deliberate priestly strategy protecting the frequency technology from misuse, or was it simply a 4,000-year-old misunderstanding? I leave that open. Modern acoustic research has measured the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid resonating at 111 Hz. That specific frequency shifts human brain activity directly into the theta state. Every dream that felt more real than waking life, every hypnagogic vision at the edge of sleep, the ancient Egyptians had a precise technical name for that threshold. They called it entering the horizon, the akhet. Temple inscriptions from Hermopolis described breath control, specific body postures, and sonic resonance as the 3 keys of Duat access. This knowledge traveled from pyramid texts in 2400 BCE through the Corpus Hermeticum, survived the destruction of the Library of Alexandria, reached Florence in 1460, then hit Oklahoma in 1925. In 2003, the CIA declassified consciousness research describing what they called non-local frequency domains, states of awareness outside normal space-time. The document references 7 ascending levels of access. 7 planetary spheres in Corpus Hermeticum, 7 lords in Doreal's Amenti, 7 ascending levels in the CIA document, the same architecture described across 4,000 years independently. Plato's Phaedo, written 380 BCE, explicitly states that the hollows of the earth in his afterlife description are metaphors for vibrational states of soul, not physical geography. Every primary source, Egyptian, Hermetic, Greek, and modern classified research, describes the same structure. The question now becomes, what exactly is this structure, and why does it matter? So, the answer seems clear. The Halls of Amenti are the 7 Hermetic frequency spheres. The Duat is the vibrational cosmology of Corpus Hermeticum Tractate One. Investigation closed. Except that's not the full picture, because if the Duat maps perfectly onto the Hermetic spheres, then what is the Hall of Two Truths specifically? It's something different entirely. The Hall of Two Truths in Book of the Dead chapter 125 is not the journey through the spheres. It is the threshold before re-entry, the judgment point, the weighing. The 42 assessors are 42 specific vibrational dimensions of the self, 42 qualities of consciousness that must be in precise frequency balance before the soul can pass through. In the Hermetic sphere map, the Duat tells you what the Duat is. The Hall of Two Truths tells you the threshold technology, but something connects them, something we've missed, something named Doreal. To understand what Amenti actually is, you must release one belief, that ancient texts describe physical places. They describe states of consciousness mapped as geography. Remember Doreal, the 1925 Oklahoma occultist? Here's what almost no one knows. He ran a secret inner circle called the Brotherhood of the White Temple in Colorado. Brotherhood of the White Temple teaching documents describe Amenti as, and I quote, vibrational attunement with the central sun, not a cave, not underground, a frequency state. Doreal publicly wrote physical cave, privately taught vibrational frequency state. The confusion between literal and metaphysical Amenti was manufactured in Colorado in 1925 and exported to the world. The actual Egyptian map, the Duat, is a frequency field corresponding to star positions. The pyramid texts give the coordinates. The Book of the Dead gives the navigation protocol. Pyramid text utterance 599 describes a living person, not the dead, entering the Duat alive. The frequency gateway was always designed for the conscious living, not only the deceased. The Hall of Two Truths is not where you go after death. It is where you go when your inner frequency field reaches the vibrational coherence required for Duat access. 3 independent ancient sources spanning 2,500 years describe the same dimensional frequency hub. The pyramid texts name it, the Book of the Dead maps it, the Corpus Hermeticum unlocks it. Amenti is not a place you travel to, it is a frequency state you resonate into. The ancient Egyptians built an entire civilization around making this technology accessible. Every major mystery tradition in history, Egyptian, Greek, Vedic, Sufi, Kabbalistic, describes the same dimensional gateway, not as geography, as a vibrational threshold accessible to the prepared mind. The Vedic lokas, the Kabbalistic Sephiroth, the Sufi stations of the heart, the CIA's 7 focus levels. Every system maps the same 7-threshold structure. This is not coincidence. Corpus Hermeticum Tractate 11 instructs, enlarge yourself to immeasurable size, free yourself from the body, raise yourself above all time, become eternity. That is the Amenti instruction protocol. The 42 negative confessions in the Hall of Two Truths, I have not done harm, I have not spoken falsely, are not a one-time post-death checklist. They are a daily frequency calibration. Every time you've crossed the threshold of sleep into a dream that felt more real than this world, you were already inside the Halls of Amenti. You just had no map. Egyptian temples weren't places of worship in the modern sense. They were frequency attunement chambers, architecturally engineered to produce the specific theta state resonance required for Duat access. Acoustic resonance at 111 Hz. Theta brain state attained. The specific frequency gateway the pyramid priests spent lifetimes engineering is now reproducible in under 20 minutes of focused practice. As above, so below. The Duat frequency map exists at cosmic scale. The same map exists inside you. The Halls of Amenti are built into the architecture of your consciousness. So if the Halls of Amenti are a frequency state built into your consciousness, not a cave, not a destination, then the real question is, how do you navigate there? The Hermopolis temple inscription describes 3 keys: breath control, body stillness, and sonic resonance, in sequence, in that order. Every mystery school tradition encodes the same entry protocol. Step 1. 4-count inhale, 4-count hold, 4-count exhale. This specific rhythm produces coherent heart rate variability, the physiological state the Egyptians encoded as ma'at of the body. Step 2. A sustained nasal tone at a low pitch. The humming resonance produced internally matches the 111 Hz standing wave measured in the King's Chamber, the ancient key, modern verified. Step 3. When the hypnagogic field appears, when imagery emerges at the edge of sleep, you do not follow any image. You hold frequency. That is the Hall threshold. The hack. The 4 minutes between full wakefulness and sleep onset are the only time your brain is naturally in the theta state. That window is the door to Amenti. Second debate. If Amenti is a vibrational state, does it require conscious belief to access, or does it operate independently of belief, the way gravity operates regardless of your opinion? The Egyptian priests performed Amenti access protocol daily at dawn, not as worship, but as frequency maintenance. The 42 confessions were spoken each morning as a vibrational calibration ritual. Here's the dilemma every serious practitioner eventually faces. Can this principle actually be lived, maintained through an ordinary modern life, or can it only be understood intellectually? The 42 confessions translated into daily practice. 42 questions to ask yourself each morning, not as guilt, as frequency diagnostics. Where is my inner coherence? Where is there static? 3 keys from Hermopolis, 3 steps verified by modern neuroscience. Breath coherence, sonic resonance, threshold hold. This is the Amenti access protocol. 4,000 years old, still functional today. The question isn't whether the Halls of Amenti exist. The evidence says they do. The question is whether you'll continue treating them as a myth or begin using the map. The Halls of Amenti are the 7-threshold frequency architecture of consciousness, mapped by Egypt, systematized by Hermes, confirmed by neuroscience, and waiting inside every human mind, accessible tonight. But here's the implication the ancient priests never fully documented. Pyramid Text Utterance 599 describes entering the Duat alive. What happens if you don't come back the same way? You now know the Amenti frequency map, but its dimensional blueprint ties directly to a lost civilization. Click the screen right now to see the declassified CIA files on Atlantis.